Hi family, it's Dr. Hooten at Hooten Family Healing Center with the lovely Christine who runs all thing office managerial stuff, and we are here to help you take that next level in your health. If you've recently started care in the office, or if this is a refresher course for you, this is maybe the most important thing that we do is work on our mindset. I work on this all the time. I'm working on something right now in my life. Christine, what do you have to work on in your life? What are you working on?
More consistency with my clean eating.
Clean.
I have a thing in my head where I think it's the weekend and I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, so food, right? That's a big one.
Yeah.
My thing right now is my attitude towards working out. So I'm just eliminating all kinds of excuses. So we're going to go through what it takes to create a healthy mindset so you can achieve whatever the goal it is you're trying to achieve. And I know some of you just want to get out of pain, right? Some of you want to lose weight. Some of you want to have a better relationship with your husband or wife, better relationship with your children, right? Some of you want to get out of debt. The first question is, what is it that you really want? Okay, what is your big driving thing, right? And we call that your big why. Okay, you need to establish your big why. In other words, if it's a weight loss thing, why do you want to lose weight? Right, I'll tell you right now, I want to look good for my wife. Plain and simple. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I want to know when I walk into the house that Mish throws her arms around me and she's happy with the way I look. So, I'm looking in the mirror a lot. I'm looking on the scale a lot because that's my barometer is how my wife looks at me. So that's just my thing. That's my big why. Another big why is that I don't want to be 80 years old with dementia, right? So whatever your big thing is, right, that is your big why. Maybe it's you don't want to burden your children, right? Maybe you don't want to follow in the footsteps of your parents and your grandparents and that kind of thing where you're on 20 medications. Okay, whatever the case is, you have to establish your big why. And then we'll come back to what is the thing that you want to conquer, like consistent eating, right, or weight loss. Then I would come back and say, well, how bad do you really want that?
Yeah.
Right? How bad do I really want to look good for my wife? Right? It should be a 10.
Yeah.
Right? If you come back and say on a 0 to 10 scale, and you say, oh, I don't really want it that bad. It's not an 8. It's like an 8. Well, then you're not going to succeed. So your why needs to be big enough to make that a level 10. Like I will do anything not to get dementia like my grandmother. That was the most horrible thing I ever saw. For about 17 years, we watched her lose her mind after her first stroke, right? And then she came out of that with a whole bunch of different medications. She started having more strokes, more heart attacks. Then she had a bout with cancer. I mean, it was just one thing after another. And she didn't know what planet she was on for like 10 years. And she couldn't talk. Right? So we watched this demise for 17 years. I watched what it did to my grandpa. I'm not going to do that to my family. My why is a level 10. So whatever it is I'm trying to work on, it's going to be a level 10. But then I would come back and look in the mirror and say, well, why haven't I done it yet? Why haven't I fixed my attitude towards working out? Well, that's what I'm working on now, and we're going to show you through this little exercise how to do that. So mindset is one of the first things you have to fix, right? And then you need to take care of your spine every day. Then food is a big one, exercise is a big one, toxicity. These are the 5 essentials of max living, right, that we've established over the years. If you handle these 5 areas of your life, you won't have a choice but to be healthy. Or healthier at least. And in terms of the garden, we always talk about the garden. Your garden will just keep flourishing and flourishing and flourishing. And that's really the way that I look at things. I want my body or garden at its top level. I want it really flourishing, all kinds of greenery and different colors in the garden. There's no withering plants and leaves. I want to keep it that way. So the minute you quit taking care of things, it's going to start to wither. Let's get to that highest level. And remember, going back to your big why. Why is it important? Okay. 2 things. You got to plan and train your brain. Okay, train your brain. So that's what we're going to show you how to do today. And then you have to come up with a plan. Without a plan, you might as well plan to fail. And those are the 2 biggest mistakes I see people make. They really don't train their mindset. And then if they do this exercise, then they don't have a plan. So you've got to have a plan. So we'll get to that at the very end. So training your brain. So we'll talk about food, right? We'll talk about weight loss. How many of you need to change what you eat a little bit? I mean, my whole team is sitting in here. Ladies, how many of us need to change what we eat a little bit? How many of us could fix our nutrition to some degree, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some common excuses that people have. So first part of the exercise is you have to write this down, right? Write down what your limiting beliefs are. These are what we call limiting beliefs. So I've written down a couple of them. I like food. Fast food is cheap and fast. It's too hard. Or the one I hear the most, it is too hard to get my kids to eat healthy. Have you ever heard that? All the time. It is too hard to get my kids to eat healthy. That is a lie. Oh, I mean, your big why is staring you in the face. Are you really going to give your kids diabetes? And I'm saying that out of love. Are you really going to train your 5-year-old how to get cancer through food? This fast food, there is no such thing as healthy fast food. All this fried stuff, you name the fast food. If it has a drive-through, 99.9% of the time it's bad. There are a couple of exceptions.
There's like a Chipotle drive-through.
Yeah, if Chipotle has a drive-through,
Not
there's
really,
some
yeah.
there's some that are like far better
Right.
than the rest. You know, the one that closes on Sunday. I hate to just shout the name out in this video in case it does go viral, but the one that closes on Sunday, Great Christian Company, really bad for you food, like extremely bad, just as bad as McD's and anything else you can come up with. So that none of those are good. It's too hard to not feed your kid a Happy Meal. No, it's not too hard. So, but anyway, write them down. Okay, so write them all down, whatever it is. If it has to do with healthy snacking or like exercise. So my attitude with exercise, one of the things I wrote down this morning is that it takes too much time to get to the gym. And I literally think that way. I plan my day sometimes down to the very minute, and I'm like, you know, that 12 minutes it takes to get me to the gym, that's 12 minutes I could be doing something else. Right? So I wrote that down. It takes too much time to get to the gym. So write your limiting beliefs down. Okay? If you need to pause the video, you can. And then you're going to cross right through each one of them. Now this piece of paper that you're writing on, you're going to keep this. This doesn't go into your car. It doesn't go into a drawer somewhere. You're going to keep this handy, and I'll tell you what to do with it at the end. Underneath your limiting beliefs, we're going to rewrite our beliefs with a healthy, positive mindset. So here's a good one. I love healthy eating. And you can write your own. I'm just giving you some examples. Home cooking is awesome. It is easy to make good choices. It's really this simple. And if you've ever watched any motivational speakers, I'm giving you something profound, as Zig Ziglar would say. He always said, I'm going to give you something profound, because people didn't realize it was profound. This is profound. You have to write this down. Please, family, don't take this for granted. It is really this easy. Write it down. Write out what a positive, proactive mindset would be. Even if you're not thinking this way, you're not lying to yourself. I'm going to explain this in a little bit. So, like with my gym time, that I don't want to take the time to travel to the gym. It's like, well, I love working out at home. We've got all this equipment at home. So I did my workout this morning at home. It did save a total of 24 minutes of my life, which, when you have kids, that's a lot, right? I love working out at home. I love healthy eating. Whatever your thing is, write them down. Okay? And these are going to be your positive affirmations. Now, there's a little thing in your brain called your RAS. I can take you through the science of that whole thing. But we're going to start working on your RAS, or otherwise known as your subconscious behavior. You got to retrain it. So you're going to read these aloud to yourself every morning for a minimum of 30 days. So this piece of paper needs to be where you're going to see it, where you're going to get it and look at it. So I have at my home office my positive, proactive belief system that's written right underneath my computer, and I rewrite it every month. There's stuff I'm working on all the time, and then that gets into my brain, and then before you know it, my behavior's changed. And one big thing, when I wanted to fix food, like before I met Misha, I tell this story all the time, I was eating pizza for 3-4 times a week, thinking I was healthier than the next. Well, that's obviously not healthy. So I did this little exercise, this is 17 years ago. And now pizza exists in our life, but it is rare. And it's even a healthier version. It has like cauliflower crust and that kind of thing. But it's certainly not 3 times a week. It's not even 3 times a month. It's not even 3 times every 3 months. Right? If you start doing this, you'll watch your behavior will begin to change. But it's a 30-day minimum. Now, let's say that you get 5 days in and you get really tempted. You drive by a fast food restaurant or something and you get really tempted and you crack, you break. That doesn't mean you failed. Right? You're going to feel a little guilty about it. Read this and say it in your head before you order. Maybe you can pull away from the drive-thru and think about your big why, think about your children and that kind of thing. But read this and maybe it'll steer your car, will magically drive away from the restaurant. But if you crack, don't beat yourself over it, just keep with it every night, and I promise you it will change. The whole pizza thing, if I remember correctly, it went away pretty quick. I don't remember that first month if I cracked, if I had a couple orders of pizza waiting on my doorstep whenever I got home from work. I don't even remember. I just know it went away sometime over the next few months. Okay, so that is the exercise. So hopefully you've agreed to do that. And then the last little part is a plan. Okay, so let's say you go through this exercise, but you don't have a plan for your day. So I'm going to put Christine on the spot and say, do you have a plan? And if the answer is no, it's okay. Do you have a plan on how to make sure you're eating healthier?
Yeah, I've been making sure I have pre-made meals.
Pre-making your meals. That's a big one. That saves a lot of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, and when you're really hungry, you already have. That's when you fail, I feel like. So
Yeah.
I already got something ready to go.
There you go. Plan your time on when you're going to go to the grocery store. Don't go to the grocery store when you're hungry.
So true.
Because then it's all the chips and everything else you can grab. Plan your time when you're going to go to the grocery store. Plan your time when you're going to cook. Believe it or not, this whole thing right here, the cheap and fast food is no longer fast. You have to drive there, and it's no longer cheap. But you can get 2 pounds of really clean meat and feed your whole family for like 10, 11 bucks. Or you just got to put a little coconut oil in the pan and simmer it up, and you've got your protein. So don't be thinking that you're going to be spending more money. There's so much food choices around nowadays that it's really a lateral move. Now your cost may go up a little bit, but I promise you it's a lot less expensive than the disease that you're going to be preventing. It's Dr. Hoon signing off. Remember, drugs are bad, God is great, and so are you. If you need any help, reach out to us. Talk to you next time.